Innovating Education Learning World in association with WISE, an initiative of Qatar Foundation.
Funding a university degree can be an education in itself. Where do people turn when scholarships and grants aren't available or don't cover all the costs? We explore the options. How about asking total strangers to help you pay for your education? It might sound like a strange idea, but in fact, crowdfunding is increasingly popular, and we met one student who thought it might help finance her education. Let's see what happened.
Here in Strasburg, Olga has become something of a local star. She's a student and she's writing a book, and she's run out of funding to complete her studies. But that's not what's attracted all the attention. It's the solution she chose for finding the extra 4,000 euros she needed.
At the beginning of 2013, I had to stop doing all my little part-time jobs in order to concentrate on completing my thesis, because writing it demands a lot of concentration and very intense work, even more so than in the early stages of preparing it. And that was when I had to find a financial solution.
Il fallait trouver une solution pour le financement.
All Olga's requests for grants were turned down, so a friend suggested crowdfunding.
I researched all the projects on various platforms, and there were all sorts of different subjects and projects, so I thought, why not give it a try? We could have a go. We've got nothing to lose, and it's an idea which might be interesting for the whole team, for everyone taking part in it. So we had a go.
So to appeal for funds, Olga and her friends built an eye-catching website and made a humorous video. Investors were bowled over.
Le grand bouton rouge, contribuer. C'est intéressant, non? Je fais ma tête.
Quel culot, quel...
What nerve, what a smile.
Sourire aussi, quelle
There was
énergie.
such energy bursting out of the video that I was already convinced that I started attracting other people, getting them to take a closer look at what it was all about.
Des gens qui regardent un peu plus près de quoi il s'agit.
In the end, Olga raised nearly 7,000 US dollars, which was around 5,000 euros, well over her target sum.
Of course, I didn't expect it to work so well, but I had such a lot of support and generosity for the project from my friends and my family. And when I saw that the contributions were often anonymous and they were not small amounts, I was really touched.
A promise is a promise. So in return, Olga will soon be sending a copy of her thesis to the people who funded its completion.
The Erasmus program has become a mainstay of a university education in Europe. But the economic crisis has left some governments eager to make budget cuts. We took a look at one student's experiences in Spain.
Ariel is studying art history in Madrid and would have loved to spend a year abroad studying. But being the eldest of 5 brothers, it simply wasn't financially possible.
I requested a grant to go to Lisbon, which was a pretty economic and feasible destination, but in the end I couldn't go because I was only awarded 170 euros per month. And although I would have had to go in September, I wouldn't have received any money until March. So this meant that from September to March, I would have had to cover all my expenses myself.
To balance their books, some Spanish regions, including Madrid, have slashed their budgets and now only give grants for half the academic year.
A central pillar of the Bologna process is student mobility, and Spain's been a leading country in terms of mobility, both incoming and outgoing. However, we're very concerned that in recent years this mobility has decreased significantly, especially outgoing mobility. In this university, which had one of the highest mobility rates in the country, the reduction's been in the region of 20% over the past 2 years.
Emilio Garcia Prieto was on the Education Committee which approved the Erasmus program in 1987. He thinks that Spanish students are losing much more than an experience of studying abroad.
Es mucho más fácil buscar trabajo si has tenido.
It's a lot easier to look for a job if you've been on an Erasmus year. Why? Well, because it has given you a range of qualities, capabilities and skills that help you find that job. What less could we do for our young people than try to give them that advantage?
Con nuestros chicos ahora, ¿no? Que intentar que tengan esa facilidad, ¿no?
Spain was one of the countries closest to achieving 20% of undergraduates studying abroad by 2020, and is the EU country which sends the most Erasmus students abroad, as well as the one which welcomes the most Erasmus students. But the new rules will make joining the Erasmus programme much more difficult.
I was going to go on an Erasmus year, but in the end, due to lack of funding, I'm only going for 6 months. And I have lots of classmates who are going to ask for a scholarship and are no longer going to because of the same problem.
We are all familiar with Hollywood films about college life in America. But in reality, how do they pay for it? In this report from the US, we look at parents and students as they navigate the maze of scholarships and grants available.
Millions of families in the United States start saving for their children's education from the day they are born. On top of that, the US Department of Education awards around $150 billion a year to help millions of students. Applications are made by submitting a free application for federal student aid. Around 77% of students filed this form in 2013.
The vast majority of jobs for our region require education beyond high school. About 86% of our unemployed have less than an associate's degree. So this process to help them afford college is really enhancing their educational opportunities, but also the economic opportunities for the region as a whole.
But nearly 1 million American students who could qualify for educational grants never submit the form, and so never receive their grants. Instead, they ask for an average student loan of around $30,000.
I believe that it can be a burden on, middle and lower income classes to pay for college, and that's the point of having financial aid, because when you apply for it and your family doesn't make as much, that's why you don't have to pay as much money to go.
Community colleges charge around 75% less than the average American university.
We give the students a second chance. So let's say that maybe they don't come from a background or a family that has, economic success. The majority of them usually wait, they work. Once they save enough, then they start going to school. And then there's some that can qualify for financial aid.
Jocelyn arrived from El Salvador almost 3 years ago and after learning English applied for a grant. Now she's studying digital forensics at Northlake College for free.
If I don't have financial aid, I think I can go to the school or the university because it's just my mom. My mom needs to pay the rent, the lights, she needs to pay the gas, the groceries, food, and she can't pay for my school because it's expensive.
Despite federal grants and soft loans, the cost of an education is still a burden for millions of American families. Since 1985, the cost of higher education in the US has increased by 538%.
Feruza Abidova says, so far I have seen crowdfunding used to finance medical treatment for children, and I never imagined it could be used for anything else. What about you? Have you thought about crowdfunding? Do let us know. Well, that's it for now. Goodbye.
Learning World in association with WISE, an initiative of Qatar Foundation.